Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Writing Wanderlust Podcast. I'm your host, Cindy Chen. Joining us today is Kelley Long. Kelley is a proofreader, editor, and audio transcriptionist. Kelley, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kelley, you have worked in a variety of professional fields for a number of years, from food service to the medical industry. What inspired you to pursue a career in editing, proofreading, and audio transcription?
I have always loved grammar and reading and just English in general. I've had a book in my hand probably since I could walk, reading everything from like the Boxcar Gang and Nancy Drew, just anything I could get my hands on while I was young. So I've always loved reading. I can find errors when I'm, reading a book and I can see things, or even a billboard driving down the street, I can just go, oh, that's not right. So I thought, well, why not, make this a career? It's what I love. It's what I love to do. I'm good at it. So I just made the transition.
Awesome. That sounds so cool. How do most people actually get into this professions of proofreading, editing, and audio transcription? Like, what are some common entry-level positions?
Well, a lot of people do have a background in English. They go to school and get their MLA or an English BA or whatnot. We've kind of, because of the way that the workforce has changed since COVID, and the way that college has just gotten so ridiculously expensive sometimes, it's transitioning to now where you don't actually have to have that college degree. A lot of people will hire you without it. There are some courses that you can take and some certificates that you can get that will give you that education and help you get your foot in the door. A lot of entry level positions that I've noticed have been, just checking emails, company emails before they're sent out nationwide, or promos, things like that. You work closely with either authors or account managers, and kind of just based on what their needs are is what they ask of you. So sometimes you won't, you can, I'm sure, get a job straight out of the gate with no experience working at a big, huge publishing house. But it's not likely. You usually start as an assistant or an assistant of an assistant and then work your way up that way.
So, if what, like you said, they need some of that training background, what kind of like certifications and like what kind of training education background specifically like would be needed for a job as a proofreader, editor, and transcriptionist?
There's quite a lot of things that you can find online. I've done a few. I went and did a course with IAP Career College and got a certificate as a certified book editor. I've also done the Proofread Anywhere course, which is highly recommended. Very rigorous. Both of those courses are very rigorous. It actually requires you to do the work. It teaches you what to look for. You have to take certain exams throughout the courses, and then you have to take a final exam to pass. There are just some Google searches I'm sure that you can do to find some additional ones, but those are the two that I've taken. And then there are some groups that you can join that do additional training and give you certain certificates, like the editorial, freelance association, and a few other ones.
What I wanted to ask was what kind of accomplishments tend to be valued or rewarded in proofreading, editing, and audio transcription?
Accomplishments. Well, there's nothing better than having somebody give you a really good review, or a testimonial. Seeing your name in print, where on a book where the author does their thank yous, and seeing your name there is a really good accomplishment. It makes you feel proud of what you've done. And so I think that's one of the best things for me anyways.
Well, that's sounds really nice. Yeah, to have your like name published in
Yeah,
somewhere,
it's like right there forever.
which is really cool because then you're getting the recognized and credited.
Exactly.
Following on that, so like what are some like pieces, what are some reflecting on your success basically, so what are like some of the specific hard and soft skills that you've developed along the way that helped you get to where you are today, like in retrospect, like what is like a big mistake you made or a risk that you took that contributed to your success, key lessons learned.
Okay. Well, I think that I think honestly, I haven't been doing this for very long, only about a year or so. So I haven't actually made any mistakes really. So there's really nothing to have learned from that. But I do get and enjoy having a lot of client feedback. Once I submit something to one of my clients, I ask to make sure that I've done it to their specifications. If there's anything that I need to work on or do differently, I make sure that I make sure that I do that. But as far as the skills that's required, I mean, you have to have a love of English and grammar. You have to know your grammar, know your English. There are different ways of editing. There's different styles and style guides. So you need to be familiar with those as well. So that just takes a lot of learning, a lot of being able to look things up. It's way too much to memorize in life. So even if you can, as a good editor, that means I'm also a good internet searcher and able to go through the books of like the Chicago Manual of Style and go through that to find the answers, because I'm not always just going to know them straight off. So having good communication skills, having good time management skills, especially as a freelancer. When I work, my own hours, I set my own hours and work my own days. So having good time management to make sure that I can accomplish what is needed for my client in the time that they need it, submitted to them, is also a really important skill to have.
Could you give me some examples of like what you just said, like time management or different things, just so I like of how you time manage it well with the
Yeah,
skills?
of course. Yeah, of course. So having a calendar of events is really key, especially when you start to build up a good client base and you get quite a few projects. You need to be able to make sure that you set in your calendar what's due and when, and then assign yourself a certain amount of hours throughout the day to work on that project. Um, that way you don't get behind. And if you find yourself with additional time and you want to take it on during those off scheduled hours, then that's, just allows you to complete it earlier and turn it in and submit it. You need to be very organized because you don't want to be, giving responses to somebody else's project or turning in one client's project to another client or what have you. Having some computer skills and being a little bit savvy is also necessary, because you are going to be working with different programs such as like Microsoft or Google Docs. That's usually how a lot of people turn theirs in, maybe even like an Adobe PDF type file. So you need to know how to use those programs and how to work and function within them. So I think having those types of skills and communication skills, of course, you want to make sure that you're communicating with your client and keeping them in the loop, asking questions, getting clarification as needed, and stuff like that. So I think those are definitely good attributes.
That's some solid advice. Thank you very much. The uh responsibilities you normally have? What are like your main responsibilities usually as a proofreader, editor, and audio transcriptionist?
Well, as an editor and a proofreader, a lot of times people think those are the same things, but they are two different types of jobs. An editor, depending on which type of editor you are, there's different levels of editing or different types of editing. So there's developmental editing, which I don't always do. But that's where you look at a story and you help it develop. You make sure that the scenes that are set make sense and that the flow of the book works well. And you just kind of help the author develop their story and make it flow properly and make it make sense. There's line editing, which is what I do, where you go line by line, sentence by sentence, and make sure that everything in the book is consistent throughout. You know, if you have a character in your book that has brown hair, they need to have brown hair throughout the whole book. You know, if they're wearing a skirt in one scene, they need to be wearing the skirt in the next scene, or in this, you know, as the flow goes. You're also checking for sentence structure, making sure that it's in the right order and that you're not using the same word too many times, things of that nature. There's copy editing, which is also going line by line, checking for grammar and punctuation and making sure that the sentence flow is accurate. The syntax of the sentences are, you know, proper and everything's done. So those are types of editing, and I do that a lot. Proofreading is another thing that I do, which is the very final step that is done before you send your book to publish, whether it's self-publishing or you're sending it to, you know, your agent or whomever. But proofreading goes through the entire book again. They check for grammar, punctuation, make sure that you're using the proper punctuation, the proper parentheses, and that when things are like dialogue, that you're using the quotations and certain things like that. So that's just the very final check before everything is sent out and is finally published. So that's what I do for my proofreading, my editing. As far as the audio transcriptions, that one's that it incorporates some editing and some proofreading, but basically that is listening to an audio, whether it be something like this, like an interview or a YouTube podcast, any type of focus groups, things like that, that you transcribe exactly what is being said to a document. So that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of, good listening skills and being, being able to identify different people in there, especially if you're doing an interview or an audio that has multiple persons speaking. You have to be able to identify each person. You have to kind of know, accents that you can get through and understand properly, and make sure that you're writing it exactly as they're saying it. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of skill to do that too.
Yeah, but that sounds kind of fun though, still, to be able to
Yeah.
differentiate between the different speakers. What would you say are some like emerging trends in proofreading, editing, and transcription?
Emerging trends. I don't know too many emerging trends. Like I said, I just kind of started this journey, so I haven't been doing it very long. I do know that there is a high demand for proofreading and editing now, because so many people are working from home and so many people have started their own new career path as far as owning their own businesses and or being a writer, and needing somebody to look at their work. So I know that there's, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people that are going an unconventional route of finding proofreaders and finding editors, and they're not just taking their work over to a publishing company and having it done there. They're self-publishing books, I think, has just skyrocketed in the last 5 years, more so than it has ever before. And so those people self-publishing, they need an option for an editor or an option for a proofreader that may be more financially, they might financially able to hire outside of a publishing house, because publishing a book can get quite pricey. So these people are looking for a different route, an alternate route of hiring that person. And so that's where I come in.
I see. So that's very interesting. I didn't realize how so much goes into the book publishing process. Um, what are some pieces of advice then you can share with others that will help them become successful in proofreading, editing, and audio transcription?
Well, if it's something that you're very, interested in doing, and it's something that you're very serious about, I would definitely suggest to take some courses, take some classes, get as much education and knowledge under your belt as you possibly can. You can't have too much education, so always just learning, trying to, develop your skills. I would say join groups, Facebook groups, Instagram groups, LinkedIn groups. There's a variety of ways that you can get out on social media, Twitter and whatnot, to put yourself out there, to let people know that you're there, that you're willing to work with somebody, and just don't give up. It's so hard sometimes to find clients because there are so many people that are doing this job that it may feel quite discouraging, especially as a freelancer, because you don't always have constant work. You may have a client that sticks with you for just one or two little projects and then they're done. You might have a client that keeps coming back to you every month, but it's only once a month. So you just continue to go out there and advertise and market yourself, and make sure that you're, just letting yourself be known. But definitely don't give up. If it's something that you really want to do, just get yourself educated, join groups, like ACES, which is a good editors group. The EFA is another good group. There's so many here and internationally that you can join, which would be, just a credit to you. So that's definitely what I would suggest. Just don't give up.
Yeah, I actually heard of ACEs previously, but yeah, I will definitely take a look more into that, because I agree. I totally appreciate that we do need to I do need to look into more education, uh, because that'll probably be very resourceful.
Yeah,
And
it certainly will. I mean, you can get proofreaders or editors that just say, "Oh, I proofread, oh, I edit," and they may or may not know what they're doing. But if you have somebody who says, "Hey, I did this class, this course, I'm a part of this group and this group," and they have more stability, or more, structure under what they can do to show that they have been educated and to show that they have been doing this and that they are serious about it, you're more likely to get serious clients versus somebody who's just, not. So it's good.
so I'd like to shift the focus. What are your favorite tools and resources to use in your job as a proofreader, editor, and audio transcriptionist?
Well, my laptop is my baby. I'm using it constantly. So having a good laptop with, a Microsoft Office program is key, because that's where 90% of your stuff is going to come on Microsoft Word. So you have to have that. I do subscribe to the Chicago Manual of Style. It is a paid yearly subscription that you have to do, but it gives you everything that you would ever need in to edit. So any type of scenario, any type of question, any type of sentence structure, it gives you everything that you need. And then the dictionary, you have to know, is this the right word? Is there another synonym for this word? Sometimes authors may use the same word over and over again. So you'd want to give them a different option for the same word, and make sure that they're using the proper words. But those are the three main things that I do, or that I use. Like I said, and then there's, the groups that you're in, as far as like being a member of ACES or being a member of the EFA. They give continuous educational training that you can do just to grow your skills, and they have usually have like a directory for people to go to. If an author is looking for an editor, they can go to these groups, and they can find editors and find proofreaders and things like that. So it's definitely a good resource to have, for sure.
When you mention dictionaries, is there like specific dictionaries that people should utilize? The only one I really know of is like Merriam-Webster. But
That's what I use, is the Merriam-Webster, and the Chicago Manual of Style, I believe, recommends that one as well. There are so many other dictionaries, but I do use the Merriam-Webster. I also have, a Grammarly you use that will help you with sentence structure. And then there's something called Perfect It, which is really, really good too. That's another yearly paid subscription, but that helps with proofreading as well, to kind of help you find things, and pinpoint certain errors and things that you can look at. And it streamlines it definitely to make your work a lot smoother and a lot quicker. So that's another one.
okay, that will I will take a look at that. The Perfected
Yeah,
sounds.
Perfected it's not very expensive. I think it's less than $50 a year maybe to do it, but it's definitely worth it. Having your own website is also good. That's where people can find you. I mean, if you have a LinkedIn profile, or if you're part of a Facebook group, have your Facebook business page. That's another good thing to do. Then you can direct people to your website, where it would have all of the information about you, your work, your services, your pricing, and definitely build a website and utilize that for sure.
Um, so whom do you recommend that I connect with next to learn more about like proofreading, editing, and audio transcription?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can, after we're done, I can try to give you some names of some people. I'm actually starting November 1st. I'm working with a publishing house that's just launching. It's called Written Blessings Publishing. So we're going to do everything from developmental editing all the way to book cover designs. So that's going to be a really wonderful tool, especially for new authors and self-published authors. That will go from point A to point Z on your journey. It will help you. You'll have different editors that will do developmental editing, line editing, copy editing, proofreading. They even have beta readers, and they're going to be doing, illustration, cover designs, helping you to format so you can post on Kindle, or formatting for a book, for physical book publishing and things like that. They're, like I said, they're launching November 1st. So we still have a couple weeks before it's officially rolling out, but they do have a Facebook page, Written Blessings Publishing. And then they're on TikTok for, I think their handle is Written Blessings. I'll have to double check that, but that'll be another really good thing. So I can speak to some of the people that are there and see if any of them would like to maybe join you on your next podcast, and then I'll send their information over to you. Anybody else that I can think of, I'll send them your way.
Yeah, that I would love that. I would love to get to know them and know more. And sounds like that group is really prepared. They have like all parts of the book publishing bases covered.
Yeah,
In their group of
we've
people.
been really blessed with it so far. I know that we're just kind of getting the ball rolling. So, and because I'm an editor and a proofreader there, I'm not behind the scenes with anything too much, but I know Megan, who is running it and who owns it, is she's working really hard to get it going for us. So we're all very excited. we're really, really excited to get started.
Well, what kind of like books would they be working with?
Anything, any and everything. I mean, they're going to go from, children's books, fiction books, nonfiction, contemporary thrillers, mysteries, even poems, and basically anything that you can think of, anything you want published, we can handle it. There's, I believe, close to 20 of us that are going to be working in different capacities, from proofreading to beta reading even. So there's somebody that can handle any type of genre or any type of book. So
that sounds like a great collaboration.
it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to get started.
I'm excited for you too. You'll get to try a lot of new things. And is there any other like trade journals, professional organizations, magazines, or influencers in proofreading, editing, and audio transcription that I should check out or connect with, other than ACEs and some of the other ones you just mentioned?
Yeah. Well, one that comes to mind now, there's a proofreader, or I'm sorry, there's an editor. Her name is Louise Harnby, Harnby, I believe. She's got louiseharnby.com or something as her website. I'll double check that, but she is amazing. She gives a monthly email to everybody, and you can go to her website. She has so many different tools and tips and resources that you can use to kind of help you with your journey with being an editor or proofreader. And I think she even has stuff for writers as well. That you can do. I know she's got some courses as well that she teaches that you can get online. I know you have to pay for that, and I'm not quite sure too much about the specifics on those because I haven't done them yet. But Louise Hornby is amazing. She's highly recommended.
I'll be sure to check her out then. Any good resources welcomed by me.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're coming to the end, so thank you so much for your time, Kelley. This was a great interview. And is there, like, where can people learn more about you?
Well, I have a Facebook business page. It is Kelley Long Proofing, and my name is Ke. There you are. Kelley Long Proofing. And then I have a website, which is kelleylongproofing.com. And then you can find me on LinkedIn. Again, LinkedIn, Kelley Long Proofing. Any of those three. I'm also on WhatsApp. So when you get to my website, you can connect with me there if you'd like. My email address is kelleylongproofing@gmail.com.
Awesome. So yeah, if you want to reach out to if you wish to learn more about like proofreading, editing, or audio transcription, feel free to reach out to Kelley, or please connect with Kelley at her different social medias and emails, websites that were shown on the screen. And also I have my email here on the screen. If anyone wants to be a guest or wants to recommend someone for me to interview, please feel free to email me at cindyuchen@gmail.com. If there are any other questions, also, please feel free to email me. And thank you to everyone and Kelley for joining us today. And it will be excited to hear from everyone else again, maybe on our next episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
I had a lot of delight too. It was really great to know you and really informative. So thank you so much for your time.
Definitely.
Shout out to our audience. And so thank you for joining us. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And then